Hello guys and welcome to another edition of Rage Against the Dice. Today, as you can see in front of you, we're back covering Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know Marvel Crisis Protocol was a game we used to cover quite regularly, and it's both mine and Sparks' favourite game. Liam, Vince, Nate, we all played it. Even Alan played it for a while. My main two factions are Spider Foes, which of course is in front of me now, and the Brotherhood of Mutants. Clearly, we're doing an unboxing video for Electro, Sandman, Shocker, and Vulture, and I've absolutely been waiting for these to come out for quite some time. They were previewed back last year. I pre-ordered them as soon as they went up for pre-order. They then got delayed. I would like to thank Chaos Cards, who I purchased them from. This is not sponsored, but they were absolutely fantastic at getting these to me as quick as they physically could. Can't ask for better than that, and their price was really reasonable as well. One of my favourite places to go to for Marvel Crisis Protocol, that or Zatu. They're my main two. But yes, so as I said, this comes with 4 miniatures in it, but of course one of them is big and he's Sandman. We're going to do the usual. We're going to open the box, we're going to have a look at the sprues, we'll take a look at the cards, and then what we will do is I'll go away, I'll build them, I'll come back and I'll show you them. Now, Electro, he seems to be balanced on a load of electricity. Now, hopefully, that's a lot better than Storms, because Storms is an absolute nightmare, and Atomic Mass I still will never forgive you for that. What we're going to do now is we're going to take 1 second while I bust all this out, and we're going to take a look at it. So as you know, Marvel Crisis Protocol no longer comes with the instructions in the book. In the box, and the reason for that is because they want it to be multilingual. So they put a QR code, you scan it, you then go onto the website and have a look. It also saves them money because they can just put this same design in each box with the QR code up there and then show the picture of the new models here. I personally am not a big fan of it because it means you need an internet connection, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to whinge too much about it because you guys won't really care anyway. So yeah, let's have a look at the cards now. So before we go on to look at the cards, I would just like to say that all of this is absolute waste. Now, I fully get what they're trying to do. It's easier for them as a company because they can send this box to anywhere in the world, and if it doesn't sell, it can be sent back and they can send it to elsewhere. So this can go to France, or it can go to Germany, or it can go to England, America, and if it doesn't sell, they can just send it elsewhere. I fully get that, but as somebody who spends their whole life recycling and walking everywhere and doing my bit for the environment, that's an absolute mess of cards that's just going to go in my recycling bin. Now there's a very good chance, if I really wanted to, I could go online and I could give them away or something like that. Realistically, I'm probably not going to do that. As things stand, I've thrown all the previous ones in a drawer. It's such a little thing, but for me, it really, really irritates me. Like the actual cards that you get is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tactics cards, 2 sand constructs, and then the 4 actual character cards. That's all that I need. All of this is just absolute waste, and it's all waste just so that Atomic Mass can save a bit of money. Also, because of all this, put the price of the models up. So, as much as I love the game, and I know it's not Atomic Mass, I know it's obviously higher ups, it's your Asmodees and stuff, this really irks me. I don't know if previously you've got the tactics cards in all the different languages as well. I'm going to have to look into that. But yeah, look at all this. And I mean, the artwork is gorgeous. Of course it is. You know, all of this, all of that is wasted. But anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about that now because you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here to have a look at the miniatures themselves. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the sand constructs. Now, I'm guessing this is going to be identical. I don't follow a lot of the online discourse on stuff like this, so when I see it, it's here for the first time. So you're seeing it with me as I read it for the first time. So the sand constructs both look identical. They've got 2 stamina, they move short, they're size 3, they're 1/1/1 in the defense side of things. Then we're going to go across to their attacks and such. You've got Sand Slap, which is a physical. range of 2, 4 dice, cost 0 to do, underfoot. After this attack is resolved, if it dealt any damage, this character pushes the target short. So they are really good for pushing people off objectives and things like that. Oh no, yeah. That's not bad. Then you've got Crumbling Form. This character cannot pick up, hold, contest or interact with objective tokens. Now, since these are constructs, that's probably not so bad. I've not really been a big fan of the whole grunt thing. I play a little bit of Criminal Syndicate, and so I do use the hand ninjas, and I actually find them really, really effective, but I think they add a dynamic to the game that I'm not a fan of. I would much rather they worked like a single 2-point character or something like that. But again, it's a personal preference. That being said, at least a lot of the other ones can interact with different objectives in some way. These can't because of their crumbling form. It's just something to bear in mind. Then there's difficult terrain. When this character suffers damage from physical, reduce the amount of physical suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. Additionally, this character cannot be thrown and does not suffer damage from collisions. So that is really good, actually. Obviously, it only has 2 stamina and only 1 defense. Depending on what you're getting attacked by, that could absolutely save your life. Dust to Dust next. At the end of an allied Sandman's activation, if this character is not within 3 of Sandman, then the character itself is KO'd. Additionally, when an ally Sandman is dazed, this character KOs at that point. So these are grunts for Sandman. He can create 2 at one time, and I'm sure when we look at Sandman's card, we'll be able to see exactly how he does that. But in terms of grunts, they seem okay. As I said, I'm not a big fan of the whole grunt thing. Let's have a look at Sandman's card, though, and we'll see if my mind can be changed. So I will say, I've been a bit negative in the video so far, and it's just about little things that I hate. And again, it's not an Atomic Masses side, it is business side of things, so it's Asmodee. I will say, however, I absolutely love the new design on the cards. When they flip to this way on, I liked it to start with, but this design is gorgeous. And this is obviously the design that came in the new version of the starter set, which again, I own. I got it for Christmas, and it's a fantastic set. Can't fault it. The Captain America from that and the Winter Soldier models are absolutely spectacular, as is the Dr. Octopus. So yeah, I just want to say that now. The cards look absolutely gorgeous now. What we're going to do is we're going to run through Flint Marko here. He's the Sandman. His defences, which are now at the top on these cards, are 4, 4 and 3. So he's got really good defences. Stamina of 6, so he is really healthy. He's going to cost you 4. That's not bad for what he does, from what I can gather, from what the quick glance I just had at the card. He's a size 3 and he moves small or short, so his little leggies don't work so well. And trust me, I know that one myself personally. So what we've got here is we've got a range 2 5 dice builder, which is a physical. And my time code is in the way, so I'm going to have to slink around the camera to have a look at it. And it's Silicate Strike. After this attack is resolved, the character gains power equal to the damage dealt. Well, again, it's a builder, so that's perfectly acceptable. It has a throw and a wild, and after this attack is resolved, if this character is size 2 or less, then they can be thrown short or small. I can never remember which one it is. I think it's short, medium, and long. But I could be wrong. You'll tell me in the comments, of course you will. So yeah, again, another way to get people off objectives. This is a very objective heavy game, so being able to throw people is always good. Plus you can throw them into stuff and they'll take damage, which is again good. Then he has Sandblast, which is also a physical. This is a beam 3, so you put down the template and everything within that template is hit by it. It's 5 dice again, and then just like his first one, it costs 0 to do. It has Underfoot. After each attack is resolved, if it dealt any damage, this character pushes the target character short. So again, a really good way to get people off objectives. I really like what he does in terms of the game and how I think he's going to fit in with how my characters play. That's something we'll talk at, because we are going to be covering Marvel a lot more, and we're going to be playing it on the channel again once I've got these painted up. So you're definitely going to see some stuff going on. So that in itself is pretty good. Then you've got Punching Your Ticket. Now, this is only a range 2. It's an 8 dice, and it costs you 4 power. Now, he looks like he's going to build power pretty quickly, so I don't think that's going to be a big issue. So, punching your ticket. Add 2 dice to this attack for each allied sand construct within 2 of the target character. So if you can get your sand constructs off and then you've got enough power to hit this, you're going to be throwing 12 dice at it. Now, a 12 dice physical is nothing to be sniffed at. So that's really, really cool. Can't fault that at all. It's a strong attack. Then we're going to go look for Reabsorb. It's costing you 3. Choose an allied sand construct within 3 of this character. Place this character within 1 of the chosen sand construct. Then the chosen... Whoa! Sorry, guys. I'm excitable. My hands are moving all over the place. As I said, I've been waiting a while for these. But yeah. So then the sand construct is KO'd. And the character removes 1 damage from itself. So it can heal itself by destroying those sand constructs. And it's also a way to move you around the board. Really, really good. It also doesn't say that that's only once per turn or once per activation, meaning that theoretically, if you've got the power, you can zip around all over the place, heal yourself up, get rid of your constructs. Then you have Create Sand Construct. Now, this is the bit that I've really been wanting to look at, because I don't know how these work yet. As I said, I've stayed off the internet largely. Had a quick glance at the attacks when I first unboxed these out of the packaging, but I haven't read this because I wanted my reactions to be kind of raw and real. So, you may have 2 sand constructs in your squad instead of the normal 1. You must activate all allied sand constructs before this character activates, so you do them first. That's pretty standard. At the start of this character's activation, if there are fewer than 2 sand constructs in play, this character can suffer 2 damage. If it does place 1 sand construct within 2 of this character, it gains the activated token as part of your squad. Right, so it is a case that you do damage yourself to create them, which is probably where that 6 stamina comes in handy, because if you're going to create some of those, you're going to take some damage. But that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. I mean, obviously, you can take 4 damage and create 2 if you've got the power and you really want to do a really brutal attack, because you've got them near you at that point. But again, you'll know when it's good to bring them out and when it's not. But then he has Sand Manipulation. This character gains 1 power whenever an allied sand construct deals damage or suffers damage from an enemy effect. So once again, like I said, he's really good at generating power, which is very good because he's got a really hard hitting power there if you've got those constructs out as well, and then the ability to reabsorb them to heal yourself a bit. He's got a lot going for him. And then he's got Healing Factor 1. So if you are going to create 2 constructs, you're going to spend 4 of your health. You're going to be able to get 1 of those back. So looking at it, now I've reread it, it looks like you can only... It says if you've got fewer than 2, you can place 1 sand construct into play within 2. It gains the activated tokens. So you can't create them both in 1 turn, which is good because you might obviously overextend yourself. So yeah, you create 1, heal 1 at the end. Next time you create another 1, heal 1 at the end. It's not bad, it's not bad. Let's flip him over and see what he's like on the other side. Boom. So he goes 4-4-3. That's the same. He goes up to 7 stamina, so he does get an extra stamina, and obviously the rest are all the same. Attacks-wise, he's got the same builder, he's got the same beam, he's got the same spender. Everything there looks identical. So he just gets the extra stamina, so when he is on his damage side, he becomes really, really hard to kill. That's not a bad thing at all. I can see why he's 4 threat. A lot of people whinging that he's undercosted for what he does. I don't think that's the case. I'm guessing if you've played Marvel a lot and you're watching this, you'll be agreeing with me completely. He's definitely a 4 threat character. I can't wait to get him on the table, see how he plays. I want to see how I'm going to use those constructs and stuff. A lot of the discourse I'd seen in a lot of Facebook groups and such was around the fact that the constructs cost you stamina, so I did kind of know that was the case. I wanted to read into it for the nuance of it. He has a lot of ways to heal himself, though. So you've got your healing factor of 1, and you can destroy those constructs to get yourself across the board to heal yourself again. So effectively, you have the ability in a turn to create a construct, pull yourself towards it, destroy the construct, heal yourself at 1, and then heal yourself at the end, and you're back to exactly where you were, but you've moved yourself further on in terms of getting yourself near objectives and stuff like that. Now, that feels like how it's going to play, and I'm definitely excited to get it out on the table. But I think now we have to look at the character I was most excited for. Your friend and mine. It's the Shocker. He's wearing a pillowcase. He's obviously going to be cool, so let's check him out, guys. So here he is, the Shocker. And one thing that surprised us when the card was announced, and we did see the cost of him, to hire him, the fact that he's a 3-threat model really shocked us. We kind of assumed with him being like a Z-tier list supervillain that he was going to be a 2-threat, very much like your Bullseyes and things like that. Now, I'm guessing when I read this card, I'm going to be like, yeah, I can see why he's 3-threat. But that's what we assumed as a community kind of before we saw the cards. He was going to be a 2-threat model because he's the Shocker and he's a bit crap. I love him because I'm a proper Spider-Man retro nerd. But yeah, looking straight away at his defences, though, he's got really good defences. 4 on physical, then 3-3. That's not bad at all. He's got 5 stamina. As I said, he costs you 3. He moves medium and he's a size 2. So he's a decent little model. He really is. As I said, I would have liked him to be a little less tough and maybe a 2-threat. But that's because it fits in with my list building a lot better. Very selfish reasoning, I know. But yeah, so let's have a look at what his builder is. It's a range of 3, 5 dice, a Vibro Shock Strike, so it's a physical. After this attack is resolved, the character gains power equal to the damage dealt. Well, that's why we call it a builder, as you guys know. On a wild, it stuns. After the attack is resolved, the target character gains the stun special condition. It's a really, really nice builder, it really is. Got a bit of range on it, 5 dice, it's a physical. Can't go wrong. Now, this, I really like this attack. My apologies. Hay fever season. I'm all full of the sniffles and the coughs. Aren't I always, though? But yeah, shake him down. It's an energy-based attack. It's a range of 3. It rolls 7 dice. And it, once again, much like Sandman's, costs you 4 power to do. On a wild, it has stagger. After the attack is resolved, this character gains the stagger special condition. A 7 dice energy attack for 4 threat is never a bad thing. Let's have a look at his Vibranium Shield, however. So, costs you 2 to cast. When this character is targeted by a physical or energy attack, it may use this superpower. It adds 2 dice to its character's defense roll against that attack. Well, that's quite a common skill, but under different names. A lot of other characters have it, so that absolutely works. Makes him a bit more defendable. Spends some of that power that he's probably going to gain. It's a good little skill. It definitely is. Then we have, if the ground is rocking, when an enemy character within 2 of this character makes an attack, it rolls 1 fewer die on the attack roll. So, Shocker's really good. He really, really is. And then he has an immunity to stun because he's wearing his quilted pillowcase. And it protects him, as everybody knows it would. Let's flip him over, though, and let's have a look. I'm guessing, given his kind of baseline, he's going to be across the board exactly the same. 4-3-3, 5 stamina, 3. Yes, so there's nothing overly special on the back about him, and I didn't think there was, as I said. He's a strong little character, he really is. I think now we're going to have to go across to Vulture, because I'm going to save Electro to last, because Electro is one of my favourite Spider-Man villains. So we'll be back in a second, guys. So here we are with Vulture. Now, Vulture should be, all things considered, a kind of middle-of-the-road 3-threat model, and we're going to see here if that is the case. So as I said, he's a Vulture, Adrian Toomes. His defense is a 3 across the board. He's 5 stamina, 3 threat, size 2, and he moves medium, so he's pretty good. And of course he flies. Might as well cover that now. He's the Vulture. Of course he's going to fly. So that medium's not getting slowed down by any terrain or anything like that. Let's look at his builder. It's a range 2, 5 dice, costs you 0, Raptor Strike. After this attack is resolved, obviously you gain power equal to the damage dealt. As we mentioned, it's a builder. It has a wild on bleed. After the attack is resolved, the target character gains bleed special condition. Now, I like that from my perspective because I don't have to wound you. It's after the attack is resolved, the target character gains bleed. That's really good for me. A lot of times it says things like, if you cause damage, then it causes bleed. But yeah, as someone who rolls consecutively terrible, giving people bleed is never a bad thing. Then he has Skyline Hunter. Now this is a really good skill. It costs you 4, it's a range of 3, but it's 8 dice. Before damage is dealt, the target character is size 3 or less. The character may throw a medium. So it's a really good skill. Again, sorry guys, I'm all full of hay fever goodness, so you will have to excuse me. I don't edit stuff like this out, you know. And once I'm in a ranty roll, I kind of keep going. But yeah, Skyline Hunter is really, really good. For 4 threat to be able to roll 8 dice and throw the medium, and it's done beforehand as well. It's a good little skill. I can see a lot of uses for that. Let's have a look at Hit and Run here. So Hit and Run, I pretty much know what this skill's going to be before I even look at it, given the name and how many other characters have this or a similar version. So it costs you 2. It's an action. You immediately make an attack action followed by a move, and it can only be used once per turn. So yeah, I knew exactly what it was going to be. You guys did as well, especially if you've played Marvel Crisis Protocol a lot, which hopefully you have, because it's a fantastic game. Then we have Abduct, which costs 2. During an activation, when this character begins a move action within 2 of an enemy character, it may use this superpower. After this move action is resolved, place the enemy character within 2 of the current position, and it again can only be used once per turn. So now that is a place, so you're not going to be throwing people into like anything to like cause them damage, but it is really good for picking people off objectives, for moving characters away so they have to spend an action to get back into combat so that they can do some damage. There's a lot of variety and flexibility in that. Vulture's a really, really strong character. He really is for his threat value. And then he has Scientific Hubris. Wherever this character rolls dice after the attack is resolved, if at least one of them was a critical, then you gain 1 power. So that's quite a common skill. And it's a way of him gaining power outside of his general smiting. So we'll flip him over and we'll see what we've got on the back here. 3, 3, 3, 5, 3. Everything seems pretty much the same. Should we just move on to Electro? I think that's the grand finale, the one we've all been waiting for. So let's have a look. Well. Max Dillon, we meet again. So, as I said, Electro is absolutely one of my top 3 Spider-Man villains of all time. Right up there with Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin. Original Green Goblin, obviously. I'm not a sicko. Absolutely love this iteration of the suit as well. I know, obviously, we've had the blue and we've had, you know, variations. Blue is in skin, not blue is in a suit. Although there was blue on the suit as well. But yeah, we've had a lot of variations. But this, to me, is classic Electro. This is the one I remember from my childhood growing up reading comics and watching the really, really old 1960s cartoon when it was on its 80s reruns. Yes, I'm 80s old. I'm not 60s old. Although some days when I wake up, I feel like I'm 60s old. But yeah, anyway, back to this. So defense-wise, 3-4-3 makes sense that he's going to have better defense against energy. He's got 6 stamina, really, really good. He's a 4-threat model, which I'm guessing when we look through his attacks and stuff will be absolutely justified. He only moves short, so a lot of this box, well, it's half and half, isn't it? But this box is a very mixed bag when it comes to movement. That could be really interesting to play, but anyway, let's have a look at what we've got skills-wise. So this is a range 4 energy builder. It's 5 dice, as all these other builders have been in this set. After this attack is resolved, you gain power equal to the damage dealt, standard. It also has shocks. After this attack is resolved, the target gains the shock special condition. So everybody in this set, their builder has a wild trigger. That's going to be quite interesting because it means I'm going to be throwing around a lot of statuses and things like that. Could be quite irritating for my opponent, or if you're using them for your opponent. Then, spender-wise, it's a range 3, overload the grid, 6 dice, costs 4 to do. When creating the dice pool for this attack, you may destroy a terrain feature of size 3 or less within 3 of this character, and if you do, add dice to the attack roll equal to the destroyed terrain feature's size. So that's like Magneto's, although Magneto does it with everything around him, as I recall. Or is that a card? Oh, I can't remember. It's been about a year since I played as Magneto. I played Brotherhood non-stop leading up to a tournament, and I kind of sickened myself on them. But yeah, Magneto has the ability to destroy bits of scenery. I think his is exactly the same as that, to be honest. I'd have to double check his card. You guys are already fiercely typing in the comments. I know that, that's fine. So, let's have a look at his actual powers. So, for 2 threat, he has Ride the Wires. Choose a terrain feature of size 2 or greater within 3 of this character. This character drops all objective tokens it is holding. Then it is placed within 2 of the chosen terrain feature. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So it's like a free teleport, essentially. Not very good if you're holding objectives, but really, really good if you want to get on an objective or you want to get yourself somewhere where you can do some damage. Especially if you've got a stack of power made up and you want to pop out next to a building and then destroy that building to fire a lot of electricity at people. It's pretty cool. It is absolutely pretty cool. Yeah, so let's have a look what we've got. We've also got Live Wire, costs you 2. When an enemy character ends its movement within 3 of this character may use this superpower, roll 4 dice. So it's just traps, basically. For each wild or crit, as I recall. Oh no, this is a hit or crit. So it's slightly different to traps. For each hit or crit that are rolled, it does 1 damage. Then you have Electrostatic, which costs 1. After an attack targeting this character is resolved, it may use this superpower. If the attacking character is within 3, it suffers 1 damage and gains the shock condition. So that can be pretty brutal, actually. Because if someone hits you and does a point of damage to you, then you're going to get a power. So you might as well just hoocher. You've got shock now. It's really, really good. And then obviously he can fly and he's immune to shock. Let's flip him over and see if he changes on the back. I really like this character. I can see him in all my lists. Oh, look at that artwork as well. So, 3, 4, 3, 6, 4, 2, S. Exactly the same. Electric Discharge, Overload the Grid, Ride the Wires, Live Wire, and Electrostatic. So, he's pretty much, in fact, every one of these outside of, was it Sandman? Was the same on both sides. Sandman gained an extra point of stamina. I think what we'll do now is we'll have a look at the tactics cards and see where we're at. Back in a second, guys. So here we have it. This is the first of the cards. As I said, it's got 6. I know this video is going to be a long one, but I absolutely have been looking forward to doing these, so you'll have to kind of bear with me, and hopefully you'll stay till the end. And that's when we'll do all the social media stuff. I don't like to beg for you to like and subscribe and stuff until you've actually watched the video to decide if you're going to. But anyway, I'll shut up now. This is found in members. It's a Spider Foes. It's reactive. I'm going to have to slip past the camera to read it, so you have to bear with me. During the power phase, an allied Spider Foes character may play this card. During this round, each time an enemy character suffers damage from an allied effect, choose up to one of the listed allied characters that is within 2 of the enemy character. The enemy character gains the special condition shown below, corresponding to the chosen allied character. So Sandman, you gain Slow. Vulture, you gain Bleed. Mysterio, you gain Hex. Otto Octavius, you gain Stun. Electro, you gain Shock. And Craven the Hunter, you gain Poison. So that's really, really good. Yeah, I can see a lot of uses for that. I could see me getting that out on the field, but Boom, let's look at static arc. So, it's unaffiliated, it's an active skill if Sandman and all allied sand constructs are within 5 of each other. Sandman and Electro may each spend 1 to play this card. Draw a line between each allied sand construct, each other allied sand construct and Sandman. Each enemy character overlapped by 1 or more of these lines suffers 1 damage and gains the shock special condition. So it's only a little power, but it's a good way to get shock around the board, and it's not expensive at all at 2 power 1 each. You're going to get that pretty darn quickly. So we've got here Surprise Webhead. So it's Spider Foes. It's active. Any number of allied Spider Foe characters may spend 2 each to play this card. Choose an enemy character. Each character that spent power may immediately perform an attack with a cost of 0 targeting the chosen character. So that's really, really good. If you can get people crowding around a model and you can, you've got the power, you can get a lot off there. That could be a really, really strong card. I can see this in a lot of my lists, especially the way I play. Strategic Retreat. Now, what good supervillain hasn't got a backup plan, and that backup plan is usually to flee. So it's a Spider Foes, it's reactive. When an allied Spider Foes character is targeted by an attack, it is holding 1 or more objective tokens and may spend 4 power to play this card. Choose another allied character within 3 of this character that played this card. Move 1 objective token from the character that played the card to the chosen character. That character is now holding the objective token. This card does not allow character to hold more tokens than the crisis specifies. Then the character that played this card advances S away from the attacking character. So again, that's another one where you can hand off an objective. Very much like Toad in the Brotherhood. Really, really good power. Obviously, you've got the one from Quicksilver as well, but that's where he hits you and takes your objective. Also really good, by the way. Rejuvenation. Unaffiliated, active. Vulture may play this card during his activation. The character and all allied characters within 2 of the Vulture remove all special conditions from themselves. So yeah, I really like that one a lot. I play against a lot of people who use Blood and Hex and things like that, so that could be very, very fun for me. Also, I know I'm playing a lot of X-Men recently, and I think there's some statuses going around with that, so that card could come in very, very handy. But we're going to now go to the last card, which is Custom Upgrades. So it's Spider Foes and it's reactive. At the start of the activation phase, an allied Spider Foes character may spend 2 to play this card. Choose an enemy character. The character that played this card gains the Singular Focus superpower. The character that played the card loses the Singular Focus superpower when the chosen character is KO'd. And I think now we need to look what that power does. This character adds 2 dice to its attack rolls when targeting the chosen character. When this character rolls defense dice, if the chosen character is attacking, it adds 2 to its defense roll. When a character rolls defense dice, if the chosen character is not attacking, it removes 2 dice from the defense roll. So that could be really, really good. Now I know I've said that with all of these, and it really, really can. And we may end up having to do a retrospective on how these Spider Foes play now, because these new cards and the new miniatures do add a lot of flex to it. It was a faction before that slightly struggled. Obviously, you have guys who are heavy hitters like Venom, who can, hit and then eat to heal themselves back up. You had Carnage, who's an absolute monster, but he's very weak if he's hit with the right type of weapon. You have Rhino, who's an absolute MVP. The new Doc Ock is really, really good. All Doc Ock's still pretty good, to be honest. You have a lot of scope. This can really, really add to it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick look at the sprues. But I'm fully aware, guys, we've been looking at this for a long time. So we'll take a look at the sprues, then I'll whip off, get all these built, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at them. And then you can go, ooh, those models are quite nice. And I'll say, yes, Internet, you are in fact right. Those models are quite nice. And then I have to paint a shed load of green. And that's neither here nor there. But yeah, guys, back in a second. We'll whip these out of the plastic bag and we'll have a look at them. Right. So looking here at the first sprue, you can see that you have Vulture and Shocker on the same sprue. So you can see there Vultures in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts, because Atomic Mass hate us. And then Shockers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because they still hate us. Then, of course, we've got little Electro down here, who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 parts. And then we have Sand Constructs, which actually aren't in that many parts. And I love how it incorporates the actual scenery from the game. You can see there the street lamp and things like that. So it's going to match on with your actual board. And I think that's really, really cool. And then, of course, here we have Sandman and we have the second construct, I think, or is this part of Sandman's actual base? I think both Sand Constructs are on the one frame, and this is just Sandman himself. I will certainly be able to let you know once I've built them. And of course you get a shed load of bases, because you always get a shed load of bases, far more than you'll ever need. Sorry guys, I'm so excited. I'm going to have to go get these built. Thank you so much for watching so far. I'll be back in a bit. Right guys, so we've kind of gone handheld for this because I just wanted to, really. Gets me in closer. So first one we're looking at here is Sandman. Really, really nice to build. Really, really goes together very well. No gaps or anything, really. Then, of course, there's the first construct here. Again, really, really nice. Goes together really, really well. This construct, where the fingers and stuff go together, you can see there's some gapping. I am going to have to fill that in. Now, that's not a problem. I'm just going to run some putty around it. It won't be a problem whatsoever. Flip it across there. You've got Shocker. You've got Vulture. You've got Electro. Really, really nice models. Went together like an absolute dream. I just managed to use plastic glue on this without any problems whatsoever. Like I said, the only one at all is this, and it's because it's just 3 big chunks of plastic, and you kind of just push them together. So there will need to be some gap filling, as I said. But all in, really, really nice kit. Fantastic set altogether. It's not that expensive for what you get. I mean, let's face it, it is. The Marvel models are expensive. They're not Shatterpoint expensive, but they're expensive. Considering they're just like, in this case, it's, 3, 4, 6 models. I would say this particular set isn't that expensive, but normally the packs of 2, they're starting to creep up in price. But overall, absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to get these on the table. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is do all the social media bits. If you follow me on Instagram or you follow our channel on Instagram, you'll definitely see photos of these going up as they're getting painted. They're going to be the next on my to-do list because I don't like playing with Marvel stuff unpainted. But yeah, guys, like, share, subscribe. Please check out our other videos. We've covered a lot of Marvel in the past. We're going to be covering Marvel in the future. I don't think that was English. Covering Marvel in the future. That's much better. You know, we've got a load of other stuff going up at the moment. Fallout. We've got some Necromunda. We have some Achtung Panzer. Bolt Action's coming out for its 3rd edition. So yeah, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you'd like to check out more. But as always, pray the dice gods. Hope they smile upon you and take care. Bye, guys.